Hey, what is going on? This is your stimulus check updated information for today. So there's a lot of new programs still available to people to get more stimulus. Some of the programs have ending, but a lot of the programs are still available, and a lot of people don't know about these. In fact, there's a lot of states that are actually sending out more stimulus. So I'm going to cover some of those details for you in this. There is a lot of good news happening with Washington. They got this new $3.5 trillion stimulus package that's coming out. It's a bonus. It's a big budget plan, and it looks like they might put the fourth stimulus check in there, and they're going to extend out a lot of the programs that are happening right now. A lot of the stimulus that's going out right now on a monthly basis. People are still getting checks on a monthly basis. A lot of big groups are trying to organize to get Congress to make more stimulus available to everybody. So there is a lot of details happening with stimulus. I want to cover those for you in this video. So it's good news for a lot of the states. Every state in the United States received billions of dollars. In fact, California received like 30 billion, New Mexico 1.5 or 1.8 billion, Florida was around 9 billion. This was all part of the American Rescue Plan. This was money that was supposed to be sent out to the states so they could turn around and pay their citizens. Now there's only about 10 states out of the 50, which is unfortunate. I think the other governors have this money available. But I do believe they have to spend this money before the 31st. If they don't, they have to give it back to the federal government. California, one of the big states right now, is there includes a bill of $8.1 billion in direct stimulus payments. These are checks that are going out to those that qualify, $75,000 or less annually. You're getting a $600 check sent out to you, plus a $500 will be sent to families with dependent children. You do only need an ITIN number. You don't really need a Social Security number. So this is basically immigrants that work in California will be able to pick up a stimulus payment if they have an ITIN number. Colorado, $375 going to be sent out to the Centennial States General Fund. Florida, $1,000 checks to educators, police officers, paramedics, EMTs, and firefighters. And then Georgia, $1,000 bonuses to teachers in the Peach State. And then you got Maryland, $500 stimulus check to families and $300 for those that filed their earned income tax credit. Michigan was sending out $3,000 to the teachers that worked in the school building, and then $500 hazard pay also to other support staffs. Looks like correction officers received $250 paycheck in their paycheck over there in Missouri. New Mexico, $750 in emergency financial assistance was sent out to $4,600 low-income families. Tennessee, $1,000 checks to full-time educators. Looks like Vermont, nurses, janitors, and retail workers, they're all receiving checks for around $2,000. So good news for states that are actually sending out payments to everybody. I think it's good. I think more states should come out and start to take care of people in that area. Definitely the states that shut down their economies, they hit these governors that were just, for crazy. New Jersey, I saw one of the worst ones where he just locked down everything, and then those people couldn't support themselves anymore. But yet they couldn't financially help themselves, so they were forced to open their business up, and they got fined and they got shut down and all that. It was just crazy in New Jersey. So good news for a lot of the states that are sending out checks to everybody. Coming up on the 15th is going to be the child tax credit, September 15th. Every month until the month of December, those that made $600 or those that have children under the age of 6 are going to be getting a $300 per month check, and then 6 to 17 get $250 check for those that are eligible for that. $3,600 total, and that's the child tax credit, and then $3,000 for between 6 and 17. They're going to split this up into monthly payments sent out starting in July, goes through December. So everybody that does have children, you have to file your returns and you have to get the information in, and then you'll be able to get that payment. $75,000 or less, $150,000 for married couples. That's the qualifications in order to receive that. There is ability to trace your funds. You can trace. There's a trace requesting tool on the Treasury website. You can go there and fill out the information. They are asking you to wait at least 4 weeks. If they've said they've mailed the check out to you, wait at least 4 weeks, because maybe the mail just got hung up or it just got lost, and then they'll find it and get it out to you. So you do want to wait about a month. And then after that, you'll be able to go to request a trace. But you want to go to the Get My Payment portal first, see the status of your check, because it may not even been processed. They're still processing checks every week that's going out. So do check the portal, the Child Tax Credit updated portal, and see if the information is available. Check out when the check is going out for your monthly payments for the tax credit. But Get My Portal payment, that is going to be where you can find the original stimulus check that was supposed to go out back in March. So a lot of Democrats are pushing for this new stimulus check. They're pushing for a new extensions to a lot of the programs that are happening that are going to be ending. The unemployment looks like it's going to be ending here. It's already ended. And then it looks like the compensation for that is not going to be extended. In fact, the president hasn't said whether he's going to extend that out. The president did promise a lot of things during his campaign. It seems like some of the things he has not really come through on. I think it might be typical of politicians to say, this is what we're going to do, and then you vote me in, and then they change their mind. But that's ultimately some of the things that he has not come through for, is some of these programs out. He doesn't really have the ability to extend it out. He has to wait for Congress to do it. He ultimately just signs the bills once they're done. But the president did say that the door has been slightly open for states to use the money to continue the payments. Says there is some states where it makes sense for unemployment workers to continue receiving additional assistance for a longer period of time, allowing residents of those states more time to find a job in areas where unemployment remains high. So that's definitely good news for a lot of people in the states. If they can get these unemployment extensions programs out, that'll be good. I don't know if a lot of the governors aren't extending those programs out. They feel like the workers aren't going to work. But the job data is, as long as the unemployment continues to drop, then they will probably not extend out those programs. If the unemployment starts to really take off, where the people are filing for unemployment, then maybe they'll extend those programs out. But I'm not sure why people would be filing for unemployment extensions if the benefits have run out. Good news for a lot of people that are senior citizens, SSI, SSDI. There is this big group that's trying to get monthly payments sent out to everybody. It's a big, labor. I guess it's a labor union, or not even labor union. It's a big organization that's trying to get senior citizens checks. Right now, the inflation rate is going through the roof, and the Social Security benefits are only increasing by 1.3%. Inflation is rising by about 8 or 9%. And when you do that, the cost of living becomes very hard because the inflation is actually rising prices. What happens is the Federal Reserve, they print so much money. There's so much money out there floating around that all the prices are being risen because of the inflation of the money supply. And so right now the inflation is going through the roof, and the senior citizens aren't able to keep up with that. And that's why they're trying to push for this new $1,400 emergency stimulus check to go out. I think they're going to come out with some type of reoccurring payment set up, maybe in this American Families Plan, but they're going to have to do that because there's just so many programs that people need at least some type of monthly payment. The Democrats right now are really pushing for that, trying to get a $2,000 payment out to everybody. There is this big petition in change.org that is going to try to get that $2,000 monthly payment. One of the programs that people haven't really kind of missed is this program at getemergencybroadband.org. If you go there and you fill out the information, let them know that you were part of you just had hardship during the last year and a half, you can set up a program where they'll actually give you support for internet service and actually give you support for picking up another computer or picking up a laptop. You can go to this getemergencybroadband.org. This was a lot of money set aside during the American Rescue Plan that President Biden had set up. This program was going to help people that did suffer from that, and this is just another bonus payments that people should be receiving. So if you haven't done so already, you can pick up those payments and get those out to everybody. So you want to go to that website, try to pick up that information, try to see if you can pick up a little more money for broadband internet access. So if you have any questions, drop those questions in the comments below. This is your daily stimulus check update information for today.
As everybody knows, As a result of this terrible, terrible, tens of millions of Americans are facing economic desperation. These are people who cannot afford to pay their rent. They owe thousands and thousands of dollars in back rent, and they face eviction. We're looking at millions of people who cannot afford to go to the doctor in the middle of the worst public health crisis in modern American history. We're looking at families all across this country who do not have the money to adequately feed their children. And hunger in America today, and all over this country, working people are going deeper and deeper into debt. Until we pass legislation which addresses, or at least begins to address, the terrible economic desperation faced by so many working families in this country. So I hope that you will join me in demanding that the Senate and the House have the courage to do the right thing. And that must mean direct payments to working families all over this country who are struggling to maintain their dignity and to provide decently for their kids. Let's go forward together and let's make sure that the Congress does the right thing.
The House Democrats and the Democrats here in the Senate, for that matter, seem insistent on clinging to this multi-trillion-dollar liberal wish list that they've put out there, even as their majority, the Democrat majority in the House, continues to shrink by the day. If nothing else, I think the American people are sending a message that they want a fiscally responsible approach to this challenge, one that targets the assistance where it's needed the most and provides much-needed relief to the American people. So I certainly hope that the Democrats will come to a conclusion here soon, decide to work with Republicans. Republicans have been willing to compromise from the very beginning. The Democrats clearly have not. And we will continue to have an open door, and we're ready to negotiate at a moment's notice if the Democrats come to the realization that the position that they hold right now is an untenable one and one that is costing the American people.
Let me just say, we saw the jobs report, and it's clear the economy is losing steam. That means we need big, bold investments in America to help average folks. And when the economy starts losing ground, the only choice is for a strong package. Speaker's been like a lioness, I guess I should say, or a lion. Is lioness okay? Has been like a lioness in pursuing this at every meeting we have been at. And they still seem unwilling to do what is necessary.
We lose all moral authority to praise them, to thank them, and then say, but we don't want to spend money to have you keep your job. And then third, to put money in the pockets of the American people. It's about the lives, the livelihood. Remember, we needed a pause. So he pushed the pause button. As you know, we have been mightily trying to find common ground with our colleagues. It's hard when your values are so different in terms of bubble up from the working class families instead of trickle down from above. We'll be within range, but we must meet the needs of the American people. We could come down some because we can change the dates of expiration, the rest of that, but not undermine our priorities to meet the needs of the American people. And they're doing a lot to shore up the stock market, and that's probably a good thing for the economy. Why can't they do more to shore up America's working families? That people would have money in their pockets, would have consumer confidence, would spend, eject demand into the economy, create jobs. We see that slowing down. We're there representing the kitchen table needs of the American people. They're there representing the board conference room table, and that is a different perspective. And that's why it takes longer. Now, it takes a great deal And I salute my colleagues because they have been very courageous, because the other side is going out there and making it like they're there for children and people in need, working families, which couldn't be further from the truth. And nothing gives more evidence to it than how they are conducting this. And what we put in our bill is what we saw as necessary to save the lives of the American people, the livelihoods of the American people.
Madam President, over the last number of years, as I think everybody in America knows, Congress has provided massive tax breaks for the very wealthiest people in our country, which is one of the reasons why today we have more income and wealth inequality than any time since the 1920s. In fact, in the midst of this terrible inequality has grown worse, with many in the billionaire class seeing their wealth increase by hundreds of billions of dollars, while average Americans struggle to put food on the table. Congress has given huge tax breaks for large corporations so that some of the most profitable and largest corporations in America today pay zero in federal income taxes. Over 500,000 Americans are homeless. Half of our working families are struggling to survive paycheck to paycheck. And in the midst of this terrible, unprecedented, over 90 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured in the midst of a pandemic, and they're not sure whether they can afford to go to a doctor. Recent poll came out. 78% of the American people think that was the right decision. They're hurting. They want help. The leaders of our country, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, are all in agreement that direct payment to $2,000. So that is where we are right now in this historic moment. Do we turn our backs on struggling working families, or do we respond to their...
We so urgently need, Mr. President, your big and bold Build Back Better plan. This is your way, Mr. President. So proud of what you have done, so impressed to boldly and courageously confront the challenges we face, racial and economic inequity or disaster response, and in the process, to build a healthier, a more unified, a more just, and a more robust United States of America. United States of America. United States.